but doing those small steps will help. I see your hand.
I have a question in regards to what your organization's view is of the Common Core educational standards in public school, and how, if they're teaching American history and basic core principles, etc. Are you involved at all?
As an organization, we're not. We're not involved with Common Core. Because we're more in the economic liberty base. Now, that said, we have supported different Common Core rallies, and I've been to different events of that ilk on a personal level as well. But I would say that the public education system, going back to our whole, that's something that needs redeemed. But that's also something that the church has failed to do. Education used to be a function of the church, and it's no longer a function of the church. We've made it a function of the state. And pretty much everything that's going wrong is because the state has taken over a function from one of our major institutions. You know, I really encourage everyone to read de Tocqueville. It's magnificent, right? He's traveling to America trying to figure out exactly how we tick, like what makes us work. And he's in awe that we don't have a strong government, but we have strong governance. And too often we think those are the one and the same thing, and they're not. Governance does not equal government. And in America, when Tocqueville was visiting, it was our institutions that were taking the place of the strong governance. We were a strong moral people and we governed ourselves, but it was through our institutions. It was through our local communities. It was through our churches. It was through our families, right? Now, what has happened to those institutions? Okay? Now, I may get myself in trouble here, so I'm just going to put a spoiler alert out there. That is one reason why I have an issue with a lot of libertarian theory. Because libertarian theory thinks that we can have little government without the strong governance of our institutions. And without the strong governance of those institutions, this is why family policy is important, right? That's why promoting strong families is important. Because if you don't promote strong families, you can have a small, limited government all you want, but there's going to still be grave injustice having place because the governance that has to take place at those institutional levels is getting missed in the gaps. All right? So the church as an institution has admittedly given up its role when it comes to social welfare, when it comes to social justice, and when it comes to education, it's given up its institutional role to the government, obviously starting with the progressives, and that's a major function. But that ties right into Common Core. Yes?
I have 3 questions, if I may ask.
Sure.
3? I've known about CVA since I saw a lady speak about your organization on Washington Journal on C-SPAN. And that would have been maybe early 2013 or sometime in 2012. I've known about you guys since that time. And I have a hard question perhaps to ask that I don't even know the answer to. Who funds your group?
Yeah, we're funded by thousands of people across the country that care about what we're doing and care about the same type of thing we're talking about, institutions and small government and our freedoms being ripped away. And so it's a coalition, if you will, of thousands of people across the country that care about it. So we don't receive any government funding or anything like that, but it's all private individuals.
And I have a question. I have an older folder of yours that I picked up some time ago.
Sure.
And then I have your one that you have here today. The old one says, standing for freedom and liberty our veterans fought to defend. Your new one says, standing for freedom and prosperity our veterans and their families fought to defend. How come you changed from liberty to putting prosperity in there? You have freedom both times, but you went from liberty to now prosperity. If we had the liberty, we would have the prosperity,
Right.
in my opinion.
No, I would agree with that. Some people would say that the original one was slightly redundant. We didn't think it was, but we feel that and Nathan can speak to this as well, but the prosperity adds, I think, a little bit more closeness to home for people. Whereas people might think that freedom and liberty are, interchangeable, prosperity really digs down deep. And I agree, but I'm just saying from a perception standpoint that prosperity really digs in deep. And you're absolutely right. When we talk about our debt, national debt, when we talk about spending, when we talk about policies that have been put in place that obviously do not enhance our prosperity, but actually put a limitation on our prosperity, we need to go back and take a hard look at some of these policies. And so with the new one, we wanted to emphasize the fact that these policies and things we're talking about actually do promote prosperity, and I think.
My guess is some focus group liked it better.
Probably.
Just being real. I wasn't involved with the process. I agree with you, but I think that's probably what they thought. Freedom and liberty is redundant. And I know that we did want to add the families, though, because it's not just veterans. And we gave the impression that it was just a veterans group, when a lot of what we do is dealing with their families as well and the health there as well. Obviously, these issues affect all of us. So that was the change I really liked about it.
Third question. Do you know of Oath Keepers, and are you members?
I know of it. I am not a member.
I am.
We have a lot of people in our organization who are. So.
Which group's that?
Oath Keepers.
Oath Keepers.
Oath Keepers?
Probably one more question.
One more question? Ms. Lucky. All right.
How many members or whatever do you have, and how long have you been in existence?
We have been in existence. Ooh, that's like hit or miss. We've been in existence since January of 2012, so a relatively new organization. As far as our actual membership, do you have any updated totals on that? As far as volunteers who've actually volunteered, actually done something for us, making phone calls, knocking on doors, that number is closer to the tens of thousands. As far as actual membership, as far as who signed up for our emails and stuff like that, that's well in the hundreds of thousands. But those are, again, obviously loose numbers, not specific, but
What are
the best I got.
What are your methods of making yourself known to the public at large?
Stuff like this. One thing I appreciate about this organization is very grassroots based. So a lot of what I do and a lot he does is going around and making ourselves known on a face-to-face basis. When it comes to, we do some larger activities as far as commercials and Facebook ads and all that wonderful stuff as well. But most of it is face-to-face.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know if they don't want to, I don't know if Jeremiah wants to buzz on horn or Nathan, but last night in Westlake, they had this really awesome grassroots seminar. And at the organization put on, they had this girl, Heather, and I don't know where she was from, but she was very informative. They had a whole seminar on grassroots effort, and there was, it was well presented. She had a real nice PowerPoint demonstration, talked about how to phone bank do's and don'ts, how to get involved, and it was all sponsored by this group. And she worked with them, and she was from Washington and Virginia, and she was very active, very knowledgeable, a nice spread of food there, and I mean, it was a very, very primo event, if you will, and I was impressed. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it.
Well, and as long as we have 20 people, we will do that event anywhere in the state of Ohio for anyone who's interested in the grassroots training.
Thanks, Mary, and I will just say this in closing and hand it off to Carol.